No, I'm sorry, man. I blacked out for a second. This is Coach Bruce Pearl. I love the field of 68 after dark. I listen to it all the time.
This is Duke head coach John Shire. Check out Field of 68 After Dark.
This is Xavier head coach Sean Miller. I highly encourage you to take a look at After Dark, led by the one and only John Phantom.
Now listen to you guys every morning when I'm getting ready. From the bluest of the blue bloods to the smallest of the mid-majors. This is Field of 68 After Dark.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Field of 68 After Dark, coming to you Sirius XM College Sports Radio. That's channel 84. We're also live over on the Field of 68 YouTube channel. Jump in the chat, ask us some questions, and we're going to be answering them in the afters and during our ad breaks. Rob Dauster here. I got Randolph Childress. I got Terrence Oglesby. We're live, New York City. We are at Schaefer's Bar. I think it's in Chelsea. I think that's
we are in Chelsea.
We're in Chelsea on 8th Street, about 15 blocks from Madison Square Garden. We watched Marquette win tonight. We saw Texas win tonight. A lot of action happened in the NCAA tournament, in the conference tournaments. Rick Pitino, he's dancing. Got a lot to get to. I want to start with Marquette, though. We talked about this a little bit last night, RC. When they guard the way they've guarded, right? They blew out Xavier tonight. I don't even have the score in front of me. The score doesn't matter.
65-51.
They were up by 30 in the second half. The score doesn't matter. They blew them out. That was not a game. When they're able to guard the way they guarded tonight, when they're able to make shots the way they made shots this week, why shouldn't we be more excited about what that team can be this year?
You know what? I think because everybody until coming into the year, I don't know if anybody expected Tyler Kolek to be player of the year.
No,
I don't think anybody expected that. And you looked at the team and you're like, who's going to be that dude? When you watch them play, their roles are defined. Everyone knows how they can help each other be successful. They are as close-knit of a team that you can just see it. Like guys turning down shots. Everything is built to get to the shot that they want. It's a special unit. And when you know that, there's no limitations. I think the biggest thing is if they defend the way they defended in this tournament, they're going to be a tough out. And right now, I mean, they're not a team that I want to play.
And there's a clear pecking order, too. I think that's one thing that you could see fairly quickly whenever you watch that team play. It's Tyler Kolek's team. And everybody else is kind of filtering around him. And guys, what more can we say about the kid? I mean, he has been awesome this tournament and just figures things out for everybody. Defensively, he's guarding Foreman. And credit to Shaka for kind of figuring a little bit of a curveball. They're going to make Foreman beat Tyler Kolek in the post. Nobody's done it. Nobody's willing to do it. He's covering ball screens by drop coverage. That happened a couple of times today. The point guard is the hedge man. And it's a curveball that teams aren't ready for.
Mm-hmm. Only thing I'll add is that it's special when, to your point, I saw him tonight take a shot that I was kind of questioning, but nobody really cared. It was like the next time down, it was like shoot it again. It's like they're expecting him to shoot. They want him to do it, and it's a different group, and it's a group that when we say the best team of being connected in all angles, this team is one of them.
They're tough. That's another thing too. Not a whole lot of fouls are called in the Big East tournament. It is a rugged, physical tournament the whole time. And they're tough, and they were just tougher than Xavier tonight. There's no other way to put that. Xavier ran out of gas. They didn't have as much firepower. It showed today. Adam Kunkel went something like 5 of 17, 5 of 19. I mean, that's just all legs. And let's just call it what it is. Marquette's just a bunch of dudes, a bunch of big, strong
Stevie
dudes.
Mitchell and Sean Jones. Took it personal today.
Those are big cats.
So here's my thing about Xavier and about Marquette, and the reason why I think I'm much more bullish on them than a lot of people.
They look like a Final Four team, Rob.
They did, because we know how good they are offensively, right? They're able to space the floor. They got the shooters. They got their All-American point guard who, I mean, look, we got to call it what it is. He's probably the best point guard in America right now. Is there someone better than him?
No.
Yeah.
He's
tough. He gets to his left hand. He knows how to create. He's a great passer. There may be better players.
There's better players, but he's on the best team.
Yes. And the
team's a team because of him.
Yes. Either way, you have a great point guard. Doesn't matter if he's the best or not.
No.
So my question was always going to be the issues that they had defensively. And the more that I watched them, Stevie Mitchell, what did I tell you? You got to start calling him off night, right? You got to call Omax. He locks people up.
He does.
Then you got Omax Prosper, who
Man, he's turned into a
he
prospect.
has taken in this tournament. He took whoever the other team's best player was.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it was Jordan Hawkins, whether it was Colby Jones, and those are two completely different kind of dudes.
His size is
And
bothering
he shut
people.
them down. He
Yeah.
can guard on the perimeter.
Yeah.
And Tyler Kolek, like you mentioned, is tough enough. You can put him on a 4-man, and you can kind of, I don't want to say you hide him defensively, because he's really good at kind of being that rotation guy.
Well,
coming around the
he's a
back.
great position defender.
Yes.
He's not a great on the ball defender.
Yes.
He's a great position defender. And what you're doing whenever you're putting him on a 4-man, and especially a 4-man like Hunter, who doesn't necessarily score like that, you're letting him roam a little bit. You're letting him dictate the offense from the back dictate the defense from the back of the defense. He's controlling everything. Typically, we've talked about some other teams like Baylor with Chemwa Chachwa. He's back there conducting, right? He's calling out screen coverages. Now it's Kolek doing that on defense too.
I think some of that is you got to conserve him. He's so important to you offensively
Right.
that you can't expect him to exert as much energy as he does on the offensive end and then expect him to put him on the top guy.
You don't want him to foul trouble.
No, he's too important to your team. Like you always got a chance with him in the game. You know, he controls you can't speed him up, and he controls the tempo of the game.
Yeah, and I love his mentality, right? Like
Dude, he cussed out also Iguodala.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody saw this. There was on a baseline, like, and Iguodala was late on a help, and it was a very clear mistake.
Yeah.
They're up 25.
They were up.
And Kolek reams him to half court.
Yeah,
and then they just get back on offense. And Iguodala was just like, "Oh well, yep, you're right. That was it."
You need that. You
need that guy.
You need that on the team.
They know.
Here's the thing. Like, I'm going to make a comparison here to North Carolina, because we talk about how there's no leadership in that program. Guys aren't taking accountability. You don't have anyone that'll sit there and cuss out Caleb Love on the floor when he needs to get cussed out if he takes a bad shot.
Right.
If someone takes a bad shot on Marquette, you're going to have Tyler cussing them out. You're probably going to have someone else on the team cussing them out, and then they're going to get back and keep moving. They know when they make a mistake, and they have someone to hold them accountable on that roster, in the floor, in that locker room. I think that matters.
Yeah, it certainly matters. And Shaka does a great job of providing ownership to the players. That's a huge thing as well, right? So you have that ownership between teams. You have a guy that the players look to on the floor, and whenever he's the most dominant ball handler on that team, it just seems like there's always an answer. At least during this tournament, it seemed like Marquette always had an answer for what was next.
So I want to ask you this, because you probably know, we both know Shaka. You know Shaka better than we do because you played for him. He recruited you.
Sure.
He's one of the reasons that you went to Clemson. What is it about him that allows guys, because he did this at VCU, right? He got guys to be their best and play at their best and really buy into the identity of, this is your job. You do your job great. Our team is going to be great.
Yeah.
How does he get that out of people?
He just has an unbelievable feel for his guys. And even back when I was in college, got 15 years ago now, sweet Lord, it goes fast. But all that being said, he was the intermediary between the players and the coaches. And he had a way of communicating with guys to where everybody could understand. You know, when you get to college, there's a lot of guys from a lot of different areas. And you have to find ways to get guys together. Culturally, I was different than the rest of the guys. Shaka helped mediate that between the teammates and everything. Another thing is he keeps that same relationship when he was recruiting you to when he's coaching you. And there's not a lot of coaches that are like that. There's not a lot of coaches that are like that. And it must be my last thing when it comes to him. He just, to me, Shaka's a special person. And then another thing is there's a lot of great X's and O's coaches, but to be able to transfer knowledge from his mind to the player's mind, there's really smart people, and then there's really good teachers. And I feel like he's both of those.
You know what I really like about him is I think he kind of has figured out what his weaknesses are when it comes to being a coach, right?
Yeah. And, you sign
He's
guys
evolved.
in. Yeah.
I think he's
because of that.
evolved as a coach. He's gone from the havoc and known as a defensive guy to, when you watched him, their execution on the offensive end, their movement off the ball, they were schemed. I thought in the St. John's game, you watched how they schemed them. It was like, okay, we're going to sag off and play like a drop coverage with Iguodala and everybody else, guard your man weak side, because they force you to guard everybody. There's so much movement. They force you to guard up with ghost screens and everything. And then they made that adjustment. They started saying, all right, you want to do that? We're going to go single side ball screen.
Right.
And just kind of keep the false motion on the weak side. And it was forcing rotation that they didn't want to make.
Right.
And I just think the way he's adapted on the offensive end and be him and the staff, I think that's the biggest difference.
What's his special assistant? What's the guy he hired?
Smith.
That's the guy.
Mhm.
And he's done a lot of stuff, changing the angles from where they attack. They're attacking in the slot as opposed on the 45. They do a lot of different things. And it's not huge. It's about 6 feet.
It's enough to make you
It's 6
to
feet.
change how you guard. And when you make an adjustment, it's enough to make you say, instead of, we've saw teams in this tournament that just did the same thing over and over. And they're a team that has the ability.
Just say Utah, okay? Just say Utah. You don't have to substitute.
I didn't say anything. We
Just
were
say
talking about Marquette.
Listen, hey, listen. T.O. was able to catch up with Shaka after the win today on the floor. He didn't have the net around his neck yet, but it was almost that time. Let's hear from Shaka Smart right now.
Big East champ in year 2. How does it feel to have your guys cut down the nets?
Man, I'm just happy for our whole program, everyone that supported us, our administration, our fans. Our guys bought into a vision. You know, we were here in October, they picked us 9th, but our guys didn't flinch. They believed, and now here we are.
You have one of the toughest group of kids in all of college basketball. You said you're not done, and it's all led by Tyler Kolek. He continues to be special. What kind of player was he for you today?
Man, he's just got an incredible competitive character. That's the best way I can put it. All the things that go into winning, he embodies that. And the way that we played in that first half, the force and physicality and violence we played with, that's who we can be. And so hopefully we can build on that and keep winning.
Cam Jones, he's been a bucket a lot of part of this season. Today he hit some really tough shots. Is there a better combination of guards in your mind in college basketball?
Well, when you have the backcourt that plays the best, you typically win.
Right.
You know that going back to our days together. So, you know, Cam, Tyler, and Stevie Mitchell, we like to play all 3 of them, and those guys all bring something different, but what they have in common is their winning DNA.
That's right. Shaka Smart, ladies and gentlemen. Big East champ. Every conference he goes to, they just win, baby. They just win. Happy for you, Coach.
Thank you.
Marquette won in a blowout tonight. Big East tournament title game. Yep. Texas also won in a blowout tonight. They won 76-56. Another one where the final score doesn't really matter. That game was decided well before the end of the game. We can, I want to talk about the Texas 1 seed conversation. We'll get to that in a little bit. RC, we were talking about this on the sideline. We were watching that game. We spent more time watching the Big 12 title game on courtside than we did watching the Big East title game because they were both lost.
Right.
But one of the things we were talking about was whether or not Rodney Terry deserves that job. Has he earned that job? And there's 2 ways that you can kind of look at it, right? In a vacuum, would you ever go out and hire Rodney Terry if that job came open right now? Is he the best coach that you can get right now? I don't know if he is. At the same time, Big 12, I don't think he officially won Big 12 Coach of the Year. He was in the mix for Big 12 Coach of the Year.
No, he won.
No,
He won it?
Tang won it.
Tang won. Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he could. He was the field of 68.
Okay.
Big 12
That's
Coach
where
of
I'm
the Year.
confused.
That's what we
Yeah.
said.
Okay.
Finished second in the conference, right? Toughest conference in college basketball. Won the Big 12 tournament. I think at minimum, he's earned the right to get the interim tag removed and to get it doesn't have to be a 7-year, $50 million contract or whatever it is. I think he's earned the right to get a shot at it.
Where in the country and what school in the country will we be this far along and this isn't done already?
Good point. Good point.
I think it's Texas, and what you're doing is you're making it so much harder. You're making it impossible for people that want to come and want to play. I mean, or want to take the job. Because if I see this, remember, the same coach we just talked about, Shaka, was dismissed from this team.
Yep.
And now he has his team as a 2 seed. And if the coach before him at Tennessee, Rick Barnes, had them rolling in the top 10. So you got 2 coaches. It's not like coaching isn't always it. And now we're here with Rodney Terry. He has ties to it. Who do you want? And more importantly, what does he have to do to get the job? Like it's just becoming a joke now. I mean, you're not. I don't understand it. I don't think many people do.
So what you're telling me is Texas is a stepping stone job.
I'm telling you, Texas is. I'll say this, and they can be mad all they want. who the hell do you think you are? Because what's your, there's no banners, there's no national championship banners hanging up in Texas. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
They buy those banners. They buy those banners.
There's a level of arrogance that comes off with this.
No question.
That's what it does. And
Yep.
you're just making your brand harder. Do you have money? You do. You got money, we know that. But who are you going to bring in that's doing a better job? And my thing, I'll say this, the biggest reason why I've been advocating for him all year is because I think he's handled the transition, which could have been a national. It was a disaster.
Yeah. You know what it was?
It was
You know what
embarrassing.
You saw, everybody saw it on national
Come on,
television. You saw it. The
He-
celebration,
he-
the way those players came to him, T.O.
That was
You
it.
could see.
That was it. You
could
saw
see
the players
That's
being
his
so
team.
proud,
That
so
ain't-
happy for him. That ain't
Hey, Beard built
Beard's
that
long
team.
gone now.
That's Rodney Terry's
Gone.
team.
It's gone.
That's his
And
team.
now I'll say this. If you don't hire him quickly, if I'm someone else, I'd come in. It's almost like at some point I wonder if it ticks him off. But more importantly, the portal. Because those guys, the way they're reacting, if he isn't rewarded at the head coach,
There's a lot to be said there.
that's
He's more than
Portal.
deserved it.
it's ridiculous.
He's
Stop.
more
it.
than
Like,
deserved it.
it's
Like-
being announced. And before everybody was like, why wait so soon? Like, what else does he need to do? Because this conference, literally, if you had a national coach of the year ballot, they got 3 coaches in this league that's on it.
100%.
Right? I mean, Tang, obviously we hope Bill Self is continue to improve his health, and Rodney Terry on the ballot. And then to
I can't imagine another scenario where a coach takes over under those circumstances, goes and wins the Big 12 or goes and wins whatever respective league he's playing in and doesn't get the job.
no, and we're not like he finished at the bottom of the league and it's a surprising run. They finished second in the league, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And they were consistent all year.
All year long.
Now, devil's advocate, those are older players. Those guys rallied.
But everybody's old.
That's right. That's right. But I'm just playing devil's advocate. I
Okay.
agree with everything you said. But those were older players. It was ready made for him, as far from a personnel perspective with the players.
But he was a part of building.
But he made that happen.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. Listen, Texas, Marquette, they were rolling all season long. One team that wasn't rolling all season long was Duke. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk about what the Blue Devils are doing now and how good they can end up being in the NCAA tournament.
Clear for 90.
All right. What do we got in the chat, Dagan?
We got our first question is going to come from our guy Yuli tonight. Of the following teams, which has the best chance of making the Sweet 16? Ready? Memphis is team number 1. Penn State, Oral Roberts, or Missouri?
I'm going to go.
I'm going Missouri. I really like Kobe Brown. Matchup nightmare. Dennis Gates has been awesome.
Yeah, that's the.
What's his buyout, like 25.5 million? Did you see that?
They just extended him, right?
Oh,
To like 20,
30.
don't worry, 3-man weave.
Yeah. Oh, it's another one coming up.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Penn State. The reason we're going to go with Penn State is because they're the most unique matchup, right? The most difficult one to deal with. And I would make the
30
argument they
seconds.
probably have the best player out of all of those teams in booty ball.
Booty
Jeff
ball.
Pickett. Hold on. Before we ask another question, I'm glad that you kind
20
of sat
seconds.
back and you weren't because you were kind of pulling a. I'm not going to say the name, but how you were. I was sitting there like
I know. I was doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Camera.
I was.
Like,
10 seconds.
I was like, Theo gonna talk to us? We got 10 seconds.
5,
5 seconds.
Mhm.
Careful.
2, 1. Mike's hot.
Welcome back, Field of 68 After Dark. We are live, Sirius XM Channel 84. That is College Sports Radio. We are live over on the Field of 68 YouTube channel. Jump in the chat, ask us questions. We'll be answering them during breaks and during the afters. It's going to come up after we're done on Sirius XM. We're presented by our partners over at Bet River Sportsbook.
Where are we?
We are at Schaefer's.
Schaefer's.
We are at Schaefer's in Chelsea.
I had a cookie muffin.
A cookie muffin.
I had a
in
cookie
Manhattan.
muffin.
Tell them what the pizza you had.
It was good pizza. It was Joe's New York pizza. It was
Mhm.
solid.
It's
good.
Had some flop, but it was good.
It was good. It was delicious. Love this place. It's our new spot.
It is.
This is our new spot.
This is my spot for
I
now.
promise you, this is not going to be the last time that we are live at Schaefer's. And I promise you,
In the basement.
if you come for the afters, you are going to enjoy the
Oh.
special guest that we have joining us.
Really enjoyed
It
He had a hell of a Jay Wright story before we
Yes.
went on air.
we'll get him to tell it. We'll get him to tell it. Listen,
You gonna tell that one?
Yes.
why not?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
He's
You
retired.
guys are ACC guys, all right. Duke won the ACC tournament. I believe it is the first time that a first-year head coach has won the ACC tournament. John Shire, Duke, streaking, won 9 in a row. Could be like 14 out of 15 if they had gotten 2 correct calls at Virginia Tech and at UVA. RC, tell me why I shouldn't be all the way in on this Duke team.
I can't tell you why you shouldn't. And we know it's the first time in MVP
I
of
love
the tournament and the coach.
I love how this, because in January everybody sucked
Mhm.
for Rob, and now everybody's going to the Final Four for Rob. Like in January, everybody was terrible. They just aren't going to be able to do it. Now everybody's great. I love this.
Yeah.
It was the same last year.
Mhm.
I love it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's.
If you said MVP of the year or most
I mean,
outstanding
Robert,
player,
yeah, but
go ahead.
what can you can't say enough about this group. We never knew what their ceilings could be because they didn't have everybody all year.
Right.
You're starting to see a team that defends really well, and I think they're the best interior defensive team in the country.
That's been their
Calling
backbone.
card. It's
Like,
been their calling
like
card.
their backbone of their team. Like they've always been able to rely on it. And that's why I think they're dangerous, because physically they're going to be able to overwhelm a lot of teams with their length, not necessarily their strength. And I guess the right word would be girth. So like, I'm just saying, like, they're not going to be able to beast people out of the paint.
You got really uncomfortable.
I
saying
did.
that.
I got really uncomfortable saying the word girth.
Pause or something.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say pause. I'm not saying pause. When I say something, I mean it. But that's something they've been able to hold. Like, it's held their game together, and it's allowed them to maintain some sort of consistency despite having injuries throughout the season.
So let me ask you guys this: we saw Hubert Davis last season.
John Shire's job this year.
Well, no,
Beat
let
his.
me phrase it. Yeah, he's done a great job.
Yeah, great job.
Unbelievable job. We talked about that.
Whoa.
But Hubert
He made the
Davis
Final
last
Four,
year-
but we were dealing with the same problems last year.
Hubert Davis had a year last year where he started out slow and then found a way to get it going at the end. And it started in mid-February. Everyone remembers that run where they had that they had in March, but it started in mid-February where they kind of turned things around after the loss to Pitt at home. John Shire said something similar,
Mhm.
right? Why should we be in on John Shire right now, long term at Duke, when we just saw the same thing happen with Hubert Davis and it fell apart this season?
Because the problems have been the problems the whole time for Hubert Davis. There has many changes. Like, guys, let's keep in mind too. January of last year in North Carolina, they had the same issues that they had all season this year. There's been no adjustment. There's been no change of lineups. He's letting those same guys rock out, and they haven't had any success.
Mhm.
Like, I'm all for saying, hey, I'm proud of these guys. I love them, all that. That's great. I love that part. However, there comes a point where you have to change something. He never did. John, throughout the course of the season, switched lineups, brought different guys off the bench, different starting units. Like, he continuously adjusted. And I like some of the things he did differently than Coach K, right? Setting out certain presses to try to throw people off rhythm. K never did that. Trying to throw different offenses at people. K never really did that. It was very bland what they were doing offensively. John at least tried to mix it up. Guys, I'm telling you, and he's figuring it out, and they're winning while he's figuring it out.
All right.
Is he going to make fun?
Early in the year, you guys had me freaking defending Duke. Now you telling me I got to defend Carolina now?
No.
This is crazy.
I haven't been off of Duke the whole time.
No. I mean, like a year ago when I had to deal with Shaman and everything else, we had to deal with that.
Hey,
No,
look, don't put Shimon on me.
Hey, Shaman.
Shimon is Shimon.
Hey, by the way, Shaman been quiet. Where's Shaman? I'm gonna have to file a missing person report. Shaman's gonna be on the back of a milk carton. We're not gonna be able to find him for months.
Yeah, he's a little disappointed.
He
by
is
that.
outta
Out
here.
here is a little disappointed. But no, I again, Hubert took those guys on a Final Four run. And now I will say,
But they caught lightning in a bottle.
well, but I'll say this. If I had to play devil's advocate to what you're saying, I think the changing of the lineup was because of injuries. He had to play who was available to him. We're just finding out what this team is
That's true. That's true.
ceiling could be.
Yeah.
Because they're just finally healthy. The changing of the lineups because he just didn't have guys available to him to make any adjustments.
What? Good. I'm good. Yeah. All right. So talked about Duke. I want to transition to the SEC.
What just
RC's getting cut off of the video, so I'm trying to get
Oh,
RC
my bad.
to scoot this way because Dagan's yelling at me. Producer Dagan, shout out to producer Dagan. All right, so we got to talk about the SEC. All right, Alabama, Texas A&M are going to be playing tomorrow for the SEC.
the Fighting Buzz.
The Fighting Buzz. We'll get to Alabama in a second. I want to start with Texas A&M here.
I don't have the stats in front of me, so
Yeah.
people are gonna have to forgive us.
We
at home.
don't need stats because I want to talk big picture.
Toughness, Texas A&M. Toughness.
Well, I want to talk big picture Texas A&M stuff with you. They are
Okay.
now 17-3 against SEC opponents. The SEC is not. I think it's a little bit down compared to what we thought it was going to be.
We thought
the season.
thought it was going to be the most talented league.
Because Tennessee's been down a little bit. Arkansas has not quite lived up to expectation. Neither has Kentucky.
Sure.
Either way, you're looking at Texas A&M right now. Wade Taylor, stud. Tyrese Radford, stud. Where do you stand on what Texas A&M's ceiling is and the job that Buzz Williams has done with that program this year?
Year 4 has always been Buzz's year. I mean, he builds, he changes culture around, he gets them playing a certain way, and he finds his mix of guys. And his mix of guys, it's a high-level point guard. Think of Junior Cadogan. Think of Justin Robinson. High-level point guards that are really tough mentally that make their team go. Tyrese Radford, whenever he left Virginia Tech, I was like, man, Texas A&M, there couldn't be a better spot for him. Just for the type of player he is, his tenacity, how they play. I mean, he's 6'2", and he plays the 4 at times, guys. Like, he is a different breed of dude. I mean, plays so incredibly hard. And year 4 is always Buzz's year. He's Texas A&M, enjoy him for 2 more years because he's going to take another coaching job here in about 2025. He's out. So, like, that's kind of his thing. He's never going to get fired because he leaves after 6 years. So good for him. But it's he's done a terrific job. I mean, year to year to year, continue to improve. It's a tried and true method for him.
Where's it? What's their ceiling?
Second weekend.
Second
What do
round.
you think? You think?
I don't know. Second round. They're playing well right now.
Sure.
And let's see if they can close it out. But they're playing well. I don't hold it. They defend. They're tough. They got dudes.
They are right now on our field in the 68 bracket, the most recent update, which came today. They are a 6 seed, and they would be playing Providence in the first round. That's going to be a hell of a game if that happens. And they would get Kansas State.
Who'd you say? Who'd you say?
Providence.
Texas A&M beat them.
Yeah. Providence in the first round.
Potentially the way Providence playing right now.
Well, the one that we saw for the first 28 minutes against UConn, or the one that we saw for the last 10 minutes?
I don't know.
That's the question. All right, Alabama. It feels like the end of the regular season for them. There were very obvious concerns and questions to have. They were struggling. I think they went 4 straight games where they're down by double figures in the first half, RC.
Yeah.
In the SEC tournament, they won by 23 last night. They won by 11 tonight in a game that down the stretch wasn't really all that close. It was kind of decided with about 8-10 minutes left in that game. Final score 72-61 over Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand right now on this team? Because I'm
Houston.
still
Houston.
Final Four.
Yes, I've never shied away from that. I think they are as talented on both ends of the floor, and they got a dude. And when I say a dude, they can put the ball in a guy's hand, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And not everybody can do that. When I mean a pro.
Sasser?
Say again?
No. He's saying
no. I'm saying Alabama.
Oh, Alabama.
T.O. was tired, guys.
Yeah, no. I heard
He
Houston.
flew in. See, we didn't talk about that.
Sorry. I thought you said
We'll talk about that in the break.
No. I said
Alabama-
meaning they're going to Houston to the Final Four.
Well, I remember Alabama played Houston, so I'm not out of
It's
nowhere.
a good thing he's pretty, huh?
That's not true.
Good personality is what he
Yeah.
said.
Oh, you went on personality around my parts.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, guys.
How many teams other than Alabama have a guy at that level that there's nothing you could do with him? Because I think that outside of
How many teams have a 6'8", 6'9" guy
there's not many
that you can say, hey, put the ball in his hand and go give me a bucket? 20 feet, 25 feet from the basket.
Not many.
I think it's based
and he's different. And there's enough size, there's enough experience, there's enough guys around him I just think that he can.
They got multiple point guards. They got
Yes.
shot blockers.
Yes.
They
They
defend.
they defend at a
work
high level. They
hard.
can score. If they're making threes, you're not beating them. And so they can go cold from three, and that can be their Achilles heel. But I think every team has flaws. But I think this team is as versatile as any, and they can play multiple different styles of basketball against different teams. That's why I think they'll be.
They just guard.
They do. They're
just
tough. They guard and they
right?
shoot.
They guard
and they shoot.
And they've got guys behind the people guarding out of the perimeter that can clean it up.
Yeah.
They can fix mistakes.
You know what it is for me? No, it's all of the things you guys just said, but they also have the 2 point guards.
Yes.
And that's what you need. If you look at the teams that have
Yeah.
won the national titles,
They got
going
the
all the way back.
they got
to
the
when-
talented young guy, and then they
Yes.
got the veteran guy.
They got the veteran guys, and they got the multiple point guard looks, multiple different guys that can create off the bounce, they can run offense for you. You know who else has that? The Duke Blue Devils. Those are the teams that I look at. When I look at teams heading into March, it's not just one guard. It's not just one great point guard. It's multiple people that can initiate offense and that can initiate actions. And Alabama's got all that. Listen, we're going to head to break. On the other side of this, we're going to come back and we are going to live to Chicago, live to the United Center. We're going to hear from Greg Waddell, Jeff Goodman, and Carter Elliott, who are going to bring you all of the updates that you need from the Big Ten tournament, where booty ball has officially taken over.
Clear for 90.
Dude, I'm sorry. I thought I heard Houston get to Houston.
No, T.O., it's all right. Listen, he thinks Alabama's going to Houston. If you guys in the chat thinks that RC is wrong, you can prove it to him, because this season we are partnering with Run Your Pool, who will be hosting the official Field of 68 bracket contest. I've worked with them before, T.O. I've used RC. I've used Run Your Pool before, which is why I was fired up when we were able to land this sponsor. They have more than 50 game types for every sport that you can think of, from a traditional bracket pool to survivor pools to head-to-head games to pickaxe games, and my personal favorite, squares. Everybody loves squares. The scoring is customizable. You can tailor your bracket rules to your pool. Everything about it is awesome. I love it. I use it for my pools. But here's the best part. Run Your Pool is giving away $1,500 in cash prizes for the Field of 68 bracket contest. All you got to do is sign up at the link in the description, play.runyourpool.com/field68. That's FIELD 68. Fill out a bracket and be eligible to win. The read says, hope to see you guys on March 12th. Real ones already know what that date is. Today is March 12th, which means T.O. officially turns 29 years old again.
Just gonna leave it up there, huh?
Oh, I thought you were just celebrating.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday, T.O.
Appreciate
Chat,
you.
Shout him out. Give him a birthday wish.
Thank you.
Give him some birthday love.
Twitter, give me my name back.
How much time we got left, Iggy?
All right, we are here, United Center.
All right, we are here,
Tournament.
United Center.
We've got
Big
Penn,
Ten Tournament. We've got Penn State and Purdue heading to the championship game tomorrow. Booty ball has been the story of this tournament, but there's also the best team in this conference that has somehow kind of been quietly not the story of this tournament. I'm a little surprised that Purdue's dominance has sort of felt like it's under the radar this week. Is that fair to say, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, you killed Purdue for the last week. Are you a believer again in the Boilermakers, or are you still going to crush them here?
Listen, if anybody pressures them at all for more than 2 minutes in a game, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, listen, those freshman guards certainly, have hit a wall, right? Have hit a wall. I don't know if it been exposed is the right word, but I think, again, they're freshmen. We've seen it. Braden Smith, for a freshman, has had a hell of a year. Fletcher Lawyer has had a hell of a year for a freshman, but yeah, they've come down to earth a little bit, and frankly, their supporting cast hasn't been good enough, right? It's been Zach Edey and that everything, and he was dominant again today, which is no surprise, and they kept feeding him today. That was the one thing. Like, to me, in the NCAA tournament, they're going to have to just keep feeding him and hope that they make shots from the perimeter. And if they can do that, and Braden Smith can handle the pressure, and I think he's mentally tough enough, I just don't know if he's got enough help. Like, I think it's not on Braden Smith. I think it's about everybody else, and there's not enough help for this kid, and it's all on his shoulders to be able to kind of withstand everything that everybody brings at him.
Yeah, even though I've been a loud Braden Smith criticizer in the last few weeks when it comes to endgame situations, the more I watch this team in person, the more I realize it's the lack of a secondary guy that could help him in those spots.
Veteran.
He's pretty damn good in them, but, I mean, Fletcher Lawyer has been benched more than I've seen this season the last couple of days. Tonight, to Jeff's point, they just kept going back to Edey. And it's easier to do that when you're facing an Ohio State front court today that had a couple foul trouble issues, obviously no Zed Key. Was this just a case of the Buckeyes just not running out of steam but running out of bodies today?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is for Purdue, like Jeff said, they really got to continue to just throw it into them, because not only is it going to create things for others to give guys opportunity to knock down shots, but also whether the referees are going to call fouls or not, because that is going to be a big determining factor on where this Purdue team goes, not only on the court but also mentally, because if Zach Edey's not getting those calls, that's going to force other guys to step up. And they haven't really had that moment, and when they have had it this year, it hasn't really turned out really well for them. So it's really going to be a guy having that March-type moment. They try to make David Jenkins that guy. He's the older guy, but I just don't know if he's really ready to step into that moment.
Jeff, we're going to talk about another team that you've questioned the shooting of, Indiana, in just a moment. You compared them to me quietly in the tunnels to Purdue. Does this team just have enough shooting to make a run in March?
Well, only because, again, I compare them because they've both got bigs that demand double teams, and they've both got a bunch of guys on the perimeter that haven't consistently made shots. And again, when you look at the complexion of this Indiana team, to me, I would be saying, like, Miller Kopp, I know he hasn't made a ton of shots over the course of his career, but he's still a shooter. Shoot the damn ball from three. Like, I want to see 8 threes every game from you, no matter what. If you don't shoot 8, you're not playing next game, because that's the only way they're going to advance. They got to have somebody. I mean, you look at it, Galloway hasn't scored in this tournament. Hasn't given him anything. Starting 2 guard. You know, Jalen Hood-Schifino's terrific, but there's so much on his shoulders. We know what Trace can do, but again, that's where I draw the correlation between Purdue and Indiana. Both have those bigs that demand a ton of attention, but the perimeter guys have to make shots, and they haven't done it consistently this year, which worries me going into the tournament.
Does it worry you enough to say this team could not win a national title? Because that's a pretty big red flag if they don't have enough shooting. Would you go that far to say that?
This team cannot win a national title. Indiana.
Oh, I'm talking Purdue.
Purdue, probably, yeah. I would say both. But I think Purdue has better shooters. I do think they have better collectively. I'm not saying they have great shooters, but again, if you're going to double Zach Edey, Card, what'd you shoot from uncontested from 3 in your career?
33%.
All right. If you shot 33 uncontested, you're telling me these dudes can't shoot 38 uncontested?
That's a little disrespectful to my co-host here, but I'll let it slide. Let's go to the second game here. Penn State, I said they're the story of this tournament. I genuinely believe that. I mean, I've loved watching this team all season long. It felt like a conference this year where this was open for some team to make a run. We just didn't know who it would be. It looked like they were going to lose the first game of this tournament against Illinois. They're down 2 possessions late in that game, but I've kept telling him all week long, all this Penn State team does is just hit and hit and hit. They take your punch and they throw 3 more back at you. The toughness of this team, both mentally and physically, for a team that's small in stature, is what astounds me about the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as a former player, and I'm sitting in the stands watching this Penn State team, like, they make me want to go to war with them. Like Shrews, Funk, Lundy, all these guys are just so tough. And then you have a All-American type talent in Jalen Pickett to fall back on, to play booty ball, to make the right pass, to get in the paint, to make the right plays. And then they have guys like Funk knocking down shots. You have guys like Lundy knocking down shots. It's just such a fun team. And I really can't imagine. I mean, you pointed out last night, how do you game plan for this team, especially on short rest? I mean, that's a lot of chasing guys around. That's a lot of guys you got to game plan for. And if everything else breaks down, you're getting a Seth Lundy wing square up with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and he's probably scoring. So I don't really know anybody who wants to play this Penn State team, especially if they're rolling like they are right now.
It also feels like a group to me that is really just enjoying this run. You look up and down the roster, there's not really any guy who has experienced winning in college basketball, and that makes this even more special.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to Mikey Henn just a few minutes ago, and, you know, he's well-traveled, and that's putting it mildly, right? Five schools in 7 years. What did he say? He was 25 years old.
Yeah.
25 years old. Going up against Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's 19. That's a big difference in college. So these guys have figured it out because a lot of them were thrown together this year through the portal. So it was going to take some time, and it was going to take some time for them to figure out how they were going to play with Jalen Pickett, how they were going to play this style. And, Shrews told us this yesterday, like this was kind of by default. This wasn't planned. This wasn't like Brad Stevens, who he coached with, jack a million threes because that's what we want to do. It was almost like, well, we have no choice. We have to play this way. And again, to me, right now, you could tell they love playing this way. You could tell they love playing together. You could tell they love playing for Micah Shrewsbury. And it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun championship game against Purdue.
Do you give them any shot, either one of you guys?
Yes.
Well, it's been a tough matchup for them this year, though, right?
But if these fall, again, if the shots fall, especially early, and they can get Purdue kind of down and not playing their game, because then what do? You're down 10. You're going to keep throwing. You can keep throwing it into Zach, but you'll trade threes for twos any day.
Yeah, that's fair. It feels like a game that Edey in his sleep is going to get 30 and 15 in. Just Penn State, can they keep up?
Is he playing drop coverage?
Fair.
You're telling me you're going to let Jalen Pickett get in the mid-range? We'll trade threes for twos any day, honestly, and they'll be happy winning a game where they shoot more threes than Purdue shoots twos.
Yeah, that's fair. The only thing with Pickett is I think he's less comfortable just in the mid-range facing drop coverage than he would be just posting up.
Needs a little contact.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. Speaking of Jalen Pickett, we got to talk to the man who is the face of the booty ball movement right after Penn State's huge win over Indiana.
All right, Jeff Goodman here with Jalen Pickett, and you're going to the Big Ten title game. How does that sound first?
It sounds great. We put in a lot of work throughout the summer and throughout the season, getting better, tweaking our defense and different things like that. So to see the work showing and to see how well we're playing right now, it's really special.
You guys are fun to watch. I don't know if it's as much fun to play. I assume it is. Small ball, everybody shoots the ball except, you play a little different than the rest of your teammates, right? You like the back down game a little bit and then kind of assess the situation. What's this season been like for you in this kind of new role?
It's been great. Coach Shrewsbury did a great job surrounding me with shooters. And, when those guys are making shots and making threes, now the defense has to come out. Now that open lanes for me to drive. And then, like you see, a couple times Kevin got a couple wide open dunks because everybody's just worried about everybody else. And the team, everybody's just so happy for each other. We share one more. Knowing that you're going to get the ball back and knowing that we're all happy for you when you make a shot is what drives us to, be better.
Momentum. You have it now. Confidence, momentum, going in, obviously, this game against Purdue. How much does this one mean? Because, again, a lot of people saying, well, you're in now. But I assume for you guys, this means a ton to be able to try to get a Big Ten tournament title.
Definitely, it means a lot. Nobody on our team has been here. So, this is the first time for us, and we really want to get it done, for each other, for Coach Shrews. But our fans definitely deserve it, too. Penn State hasn't been here in a long time, and we're trying to win one for them.
Booty ball. Brad Underwood called it booty ball. What do you think? You don't like it? You don't like booty ball?
I am against that. I'm a physical player. I don't know about booty ball, though. I did see the shirts that came out, but no.
You're not going to buy one of those shirts? No booty ball. No booty ball. All right, well, listen, congrats. Good luck tomorrow. Like I said, man, you guys are really, really fun to watch, and you've been deserving. I think I had you as a second-team All-American, first-team All-American, whatever it is. You've had one hell of a season this year.
Thank you. We're not done yet. One more.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you.
That was Penn State's Jalen Pickett with our own Jeff Goodman. Jeff, I want to talk bigger picture with this Big Ten team, or this Big Ten conference, excuse me. Wide open year. I've criticized it loudly that just the level of play is down a little bit. They're still going to get 7, maybe 8 teams in the NCAA tournament next week. Which team, like Penn State did this week, which team can go make a run in the NCAA tournament?
All right, so I want to say none. But then I look around the country and I say to myself, a run, you could see a Big Ten team getting into the Final Four. There just aren't a lot of dominant teams out there, again, that you're scared of, right? Avoid Houston, avoid Alabama, avoid Duke right now because, man, they look good. And you just look at it and you're like, okay, Purdue, they could beat anybody, any other team. They could lose to any other team. Indiana, if they get Trace and Jalen and Miller Kopp making some threes, they could win 3 games and get to the Elite 8 and nobody would be surprised. How many other teams? Penn State, I don't know here if, again, this was the high point for Penn State, and now you lose your first game because you're not making threes. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, again, Purdue and Indiana, Illinois, I don't trust at all. I'm kind of out on Illinois at this point. Again, I've kind of been documented even preseason. No point guard, no confidence. That's my take on Illinois.
What about your preseason favorite Iowa Hawkeyes? Have you sold your stock at this point?
I mean, they could win 2.
Can they really, Jeff?
Yes, of course.
A Fran McCaffrey team's going to go win 2 games?
I think he can do it. I think he can finally get to that second weekend. I think he can do it. They're older. They're tough. They don't guard still, but they can score with anybody. I still – it depends on the matchup with Iowa. It really depends on the matchup and who they get.
That's fair. It does. If Chris Murray could just get his body double Keegan Murray in for a week, I'd feel a little better about it. I'm not going to lie. Who's making a run, Card? Is anybody making a run?
This is going to sound weird, I think, because I didn't think I was going to come with this team when we actually set up this camera and microphone. But I'm not going to get all the way out on the Hoosiers making a run because you have Trace Jackson Davis, All-American candidate. You have a pro and Jalen Hood-Schifino. And the one thing that differs Purdue and Indiana in my eyes, Edey might be better. But the fact that Trace Jackson Davis is giving you 5 to 6 assists a game, he just needs guys to actually shoot shots. Imagine what this team will look like if you really just Woodson just grabs Miller Kopp and says, you know what, 3, shoot it. When you catch it, just shoot the ball. It shouldn't be that hard. Shooting threes is a lot of fun, okay? Just shoot the 3. This team can do some things. I still think they got the talent. They got the pro. They got the All-American. I'm not going to get all the way out on the Hoosiers. I think that Trace Jackson Davis has that, legendary March run into the sunset as he's done with college basketball.
I'd like to see that for Trace. I mean, he's been fantastic this year. But, again, we're kind of pointing at guys who have been the butt of jokes in this conference when they get to this point in the season with Fran McCaffrey, with Trace. Like, these are not proven winners at this level. Now we're just looking for somebody to do it. I want to go quick question to both of you, and then we'll wrap with this. If I could go to Bet Rivers, our lovely partners, and get my own prop made up for the NCAA tournament, over or under 1.5 teams from this conference that make the Sweet 16. Are you taking the over or are you taking the under?
I'll take the over. I mean, they're going to get, 8, 9 in?
Should have 8 in.
Right, 8 in. I'm just going to go with the pure numbers there and go with the over.
Okay, Cart?
Over. Unfortunately, Michigan's not there because, they always make second weekends or whatnot, but they won't have the opportunity this year. But, yeah, I'll take the over on that one pretty easily, I think, too.
Easily. Wow. Okay. I'll take the under. I'm sorry, guys. I'm still not buying it. I wish I could. It's been a fun year. It's been a fun week, but they need to prove something to me next week. All right. We're going to throw back after the break to our friends over at Madison Square Garden after the big.
Trying to prove that you won an argument, RC, that your takes weren't hot, that they were just right. Well, I got an answer to your problems. Vaulted is a new sports prediction app that turns your opinions into facts.
Ooh.
You can store all of your predictions and hot takes in your own vault now and forever. Challenge your friends, keep track of the results, and prove that you are, in fact, the smartest. Vaulted will also be releasing more than 50 pools in the next 3 months, NBA playoffs, NCAA tournament, all of the above. So download the app at the link below, sign up for your 3-month trial, and store your predictions now and forever.
Does that work in a marriage also?
No.
No?
It doesn't work in a marriage. It's unfortunate.
Only not. This Arizona UCLA game, guys, has been absolutely fantastic. Tiger Campbell missed it.
30 seconds.
Never would have thought Tiger would have missed that. This would be a hell of a win for Arizona.
Yeah, it would.
Hell of a win for Arizona. You know what sucks?
What's that?
This
20
rivalry has
seconds.
1 more year left. That's it.
That does suck.
1 more year left.
Conference realignment's miserable.
I would have never guessed that Tiger Campbell.
10 seconds.
Brings another thing into question.
5.
All right.
2, 1. Mike's hot.
Welcome back. Field of 68 After Dark. We are live. Sirius XM, Channel 84. That is College Sports Radio. We are streaming over on the Field of 68 YouTube channel. Jump in there. We're going to be on the afters in about 9 minutes. We got a special guest coming down. We're going to be hanging out, answering questions from the chat. If you guys are nice, we might even give away a Top Golf gift card. Guys, we got to talk about this Arizona UCLA game.
Arizona right now is up 61-59. There's 5.8 seconds left. Azuolas Tubelis has one more free throw to shoot. Here's my biggest takeaway, though, regardless of what happens here. One, it sucks that we're losing this rivalry. But two, UCLA does not have a Dean Bona. He should be back for the NCAA tournament, and they don't have Jalen Clark. He's probably not going to be back for the NCAA tournament. He has a torn Achilles. Can this team make a run?
I think they're limited if they are missing both of those guys. Obviously, I mean, you look at their depth. There's been times of this game where Jaime Jaquez has been playing the 5. That's something that's obviously to be considered. But all of that being said, veteran point guard, guy that can score at the end of the clock, and Jaime Jaquez, Tiger Campbell is the point guard I was referring to. Amari Bailey has been good. Has he been the great freshman that a lot of people expected? Not quite. However, the upside's there.
He's talented.
He's very talented.
No, I agree. I for one, they defend.
Yeah,
they compete defensively. This is an Arizona team that really scores the ball, and we're sitting here. We're sitting on 61, so they're going to give themselves a chance. The injury to Bona is going to be big.
It's huge. Yeah.
It's not only for him to come back, how close to him being himself when he gets back.
So it was our Jeff Goodman that reported that that he's not expected to miss the tournament. It's unclear like when he's going to be back, but UCLA is going to be a high enough seed. Probably doesn't need to be back until the second round. It should be all right. I'm torn on it, right? I don't know how much I fully trust Jaime Jaquez as the guy, but at the same time, if you give me Tiger Campbell, you give me Jaime Jaquez, and you give me Mick Cronin coaching up that defense and that toughness,
sure.
I'm kind of in on it. I'm kind of in on that being the formula.
It could be another second weekend.
Here we go. Give it to Tiger. Give it to Tiger.
Goes.
Oh, we got it.
Nope, he missed it.
Oh,
Arizona wins the Pac-12 tournament championship, the second to last one that is going to be in this in what the current state of the Pac-12 is. All right, so let's talk a little bit about these Wildcats because
what just happened?
He's just celebrating. He's just celebrating. Give him a little hug, cheering. Courtney Ramey with the big shot. I think that's the big question I have with them, right? It's two things. How well are they going to be able to guard, right, when you have the two big guys out there? And do you trust their backcourt, RC?
They've been good all year. I think they play at a pace when the ball's moving and popping. I think they're better defensively than people give them credit for, one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can score the ball. They're a legit team. I think I've always – the only concern that I have is that 4 spot if they play against a perimeter-oriented stretch 4.
Right.
Just a matchup thing. That's the only question mark where I'm like, because you can't switch with Azuolas Tubelis. You can't switch guards on him in the tournament. So – other than that, I'm in on this team. If they get the right matchup, they can make a run. I'm not down on them.
Yeah, I think the front court is certainly the strength, and there are some issues defensively, but they've found ways to kind of cover
they
that
protect
up.
the paint.
So that's a big part of that. The backcourt at the beginning of the year scared me. I think Kirk Reese has scared me. The emotional instability. However, they've been good, and not only that, Colin Boswell's now a sophomore, right? I mean, this is the end of the season.
Yep.
It's a talented kid, big body, can compete physically with any point guard in college basketball. Is he needed for long periods of time? No, but he could also spell you to at least give Kerr a breather or a mental break rather than a breather, because he can get up in arms, and sometimes you have to bring him over there, calm him down, give him a little woosah. Got to get my man Kerr a little woosah. And then send him back in there. And Kylan Boswell developing into that solid backup role certainly helps those things.
I think both of those guys, Krisa and Azuolas, playing for their national teams. I think there've been some growth there.
Oh, and Pele Larson, the same thing.
And Pele Larson, you're right. I think those guys playing on their national teams, there's just some growth there that I think we'll see. I don't think this team will fade in the tournament as the way they did a year ago.
Oh man! So you guys are gonna make me be the one that says it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna make me be.
We've been the bad guys pretty much the direction.
Yeah.
So for this team has a lot of the same questions, a lot of same pieces that they had last year. The two bigs playing that style, playing the way that Tommy Lloyd wants to play.
Right.
Right. They still got the same point guard.
and they lost 3 first-round picks.
True.
They lost Ben Matherin, they lost Dalen Terry, and they lost Christian Coloco.
Yep.
And you're going to tell me that now
had a hell of a year.
you trust? And they aren't what they were defensively. They lost their studs and they lost their difference.
Only because I said I think those guys will take a step, and I think they'll respond because they'll draw on their poor postseason performances, and I think that's a motivating factor that they're going to be more dialed in for it, particularly early on. They could lose against someone that we don't know what the seedings will be, But I think I'm not ready to say Houston, but I think they can, depending on the matchups or whatever. But I see them getting through the first weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should. They're going to be a top 2 seed.
Well,
if they can't get through the first weekend,
there's always an 8-9. There's always an 8-9 that upsets somebody.
There's going to be some 8-9 teams this year that you just don't want to play.
Yes,
that's going to be. There'll be more.
And my thing is, I think that Arizona is one of those teams where if you are a 7 seed or a 10 seed and you get them in your bracket, you're not going to look at them and be like, oh man, we're not going to be able to do this, or like, oh man, what are we going to do? Like the way that you would with the Houston, or the way that you would with an Alabama.
Well,
or maybe the way that you would with some of these other teams, right? I think you look at Arizona,
but you can say that right now. I'll say this: I'm more confident in Arizona right now than I am in UCLA, just because of health reasons.
What if we knew that Adem Bona was going to be back?
But we can't play what ifs now. We're here where we are, and we know we're in a situation. He's injured, and it's concerning enough that this tournament's going to come around quick. Let's just say worst case scenario, it's a sublux, a shoulder popped in or popped out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyone that's had shoulder injuries, no. He's going to have limitations.
Mm-hmm.
And how much of that, how comfortable is he using that?
I've never had a shoulder issue. It sounds miserable.
Oh my God. I've had 3 surgeries. Trust me, you don't want it.
No.
It's the worst. If you had anybody had it, I've torn an ACL that had shoulder surgeries. Give me an ACL any day of the week.
Really?
The good thing is that Adem Bona, like all he's got to do is just kind of run around out there. Like,
but he's got to play with a level of physicality still.
You're right. All right, let me ask you this. We got about a minute left. UCLA, any chance of getting the 1 seed after losing this? And does it matter whether or not Purdue wins the Big Ten tournament tomorrow? Does Purdue have to win to get that last number 1
Well,
seed?
I think they have to, because Texas has to be on strong consideration of one now. So
if the problem with Texas has 14 quad 1 wins, the biggest problem with Texas, lost 8 games. Teams that lose 8 games aren't going to end up being like they just don't get 1 seed. So UCLA or Purdue, got 30 seconds. Make a decision.
Purdue.
Pick one.
Yeah,
Purdue for
the 1 seed.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what happens tomorrow.
No,
but I thought UCLA was the one that was already on the
to.
outside of anyway. So is Arizona going to get a 1 seed now?
No.
So who gets the other 1 seed?
Purdue. That's where I'm at. I think the 1 seeds are kind of set at this point. So
yeah.
No matter what happens with Purdue tomorrow against Penn State, I think they're probably going to end up getting it. Listen, I want to tell you guys, tomorrow, Selection Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, all the way through midnight Eastern time. Check out the Field of 68 YouTube channel. We're going to be there. We're going to be streaming live. We have the Fielding the 68 guys opening it up. Me, T.O., RC, Tyler Hansborough, John Henson, Jeff Goodman, Robbie Hummel. Everybody on the Field of 68 is going to be there. We will see you tomorrow night. Field of 68 after dark.
Clear.
All right. Thanks, Denton. Thank you, sir. It is time for
the afters. Bum, bum, bum.
I'm gonna text him right now. We're gonna have
hold
a
on.
special.
Let's say, hold on before you do that. The chat is wondering. They want you to talk a little bit about the bubble.
The bubble.
Bubble.
What are your thoughts on the bubble?
1 in the morning.
I said it last night, guys. I said it last night.
RC had 5 hours of sleep in the last 72. My man's running on empty right now. His check engine light's on right now. Dauster, you're working him to death. Look at him.
I'm not working him to death.
Look at him.
Hey,
That man's about to bust out the top of his head.
Last night I said, RC, do you
Somebody
want to
call HR.
Last night I said, RC, do you want to go to sleep?
Who's HR?
No, here's the true story. Last night I said, RC, do you want to go to sleep? Or do you want to go get a drink at Mustang Harry's on the way back from the garden?
Mustang Harry's. What a name.
We went and got a drink.
We went and got a drink.
And we found pizza at
and then what
3:30.
happened after we left the bar? Did it say, RC, do you want to go to sleep or do you want to go get pizza? What did you say?
We got pizza.
Yeah, it's not on me.
You want
to make a decision, okay? Not because we're working.
Hey, so
enjoying our night.
this is Randolph solidifying his ability to come up here the next 10 years. Because the last few times that I've come up, Rob's like, "You want to go get a drink? I got to calm down." I'd be like, "Nope, I'm going to bed, friend." I am tired.
I'm gonna get it in, but
I am tired.
Listen, no, there's your boy Pelly Larson with the
Pelly.
All right, so the bubble. I said it last night that I think that this was, for me, it was already decided before yesterday, right? All we were waiting to see was if anybody was going to be a bid thief.
Right.
Vanderbilt lost.
Right.
The two teams in the American lost.
Yes.
And Florida Atlantic beat UAB. There were no bid thieves.
Yep.
I think it's set. Clemson.
Hey.
On the wrong side. Listen, here comes the guest. Jimmy, get over here. The bar that we are at right now. It's called Schaefer's.
That's what I call it.
This is the man right
You
here.
gotta get your
It's Jimmy Schaefer. Played at the U.
The U. Hofstra U, not Miami.
Yeah, move it.
Hey, slide down. We got room. We got room.
We all like each other here.
It's the closest anybody got to Tijuana 3 ever, bro.
That's right. That's right. So the U, Hofstra.
Yep. Jimmy, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? This is Jimmy Schaefer from Hofstra University. I just go by Schaefer. It's like Prince, Madonna, God, Jesus, Schaefer. Sham God. He's the guy I look up to too. But I'm from Severian High School, graduated from Hofstra in '95. I'm so happy to be on this podcast right now. You don't know what these guys mean to me and meant to the ACC basketball and stuff like that. And I'm so proud that these guys are doing a podcast of Field of 68, because if somebody doesn't realize that the NCAA tournament is the best, it's mistaken.
And don't sell yourself short. You didn't just go to Hofstra.
I scored 1,000 points in the Division.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to let the people know.
I wasn't RC.
Hey, you
got
got
Here's the truth. Here's the truth. Jay Wright would never have gotten Villanova if it wasn't for Jimmy Schaefer.
That's
True
right.
Or false?
True. But I think I think when JJ Redick said that shit about Bob Cousy, I think he was talking about me. I played against Maryland. I played against Maryland and Verizon guys. I think he was talking about me.
All right, Dagan, how do you want to do this? You want to open up the chat, ask some questions, get some answers?
Sure, we can do that. That's fine with me.
What do we got?
So, chat, if you guys asked me a question earlier, re-ask me your question so they get lost. So re-ask me
and if you want to hear some Jay Wright stories.
Yeah, I got him. I don't know. I'll wake up Jay in North Philly. We send him a cheesesteak, but I got some stories for him.
How about this?
It's Bobby Knight like.
Here's the first question we got. Give me your best Jay Wright story that you can tell publicly that everyone is going to hear and everyone's going to know.
I mean, like I told you before,
we need to preface. All right, we got to preface it because we got a lot of them. I don't know how many.
I mean, the Yale story is the best because, like, I mean, I could tell the Yale story, but it gets a little crazy. You might get in trouble for that. So, but the Yale story is the best. We were up 14, you know, anyway, down in New Haven. We were looking at just trying to get some pizza after the game, but that didn't happen. You know, they came back. They did some like equations, you know, and they got at us, and we wound up losing. And I got on the bus on the way back home. I was talking to my roommates. We were joking around, not taking it serious, you know. And he comes steaming to the back of the bus, and he was just like, "You think this is funny, Shafe? You think this is funny? You just lost to a bunch of pocket protected nerds." And then he was like, "We'll see how funny you think this is when we get back to campus." So I was like, so the bus ride is like an hour and a half, and people were like, Jesus, what was me? And like, oh God. So when we got to campus, we went into the locker room, and I was just discussing this with you guys before. People were like, yo, Shafe, I'm tired. I want to practice right now. And I was like, yo, guys, just get in your gear. Let's just go out there, see what happens. We go out there, the lights are real dim. So like they go upstairs to get changed in their gear, and the door opens, and I see these security guards walk in. Fortunately for me, you know, I knew a lot of people on the campus. They're ex-football players. I know the guy. I'm like, hey, Butchie, come over here for a second. He's like, what's up, Shafe? I said, we just lost a heartbreaker. This guy wants to run me to death, but I want to show him who's boss. You know, that's how it is. So you know what it is, bro. When that guy came in your room in Naples, as we discussed before. So, they came in. I was like, they're like, what do you want me to do, Shafe? I was like, yo, tell him you got to get the lighting company. You can't get the lights on. He's like, for real? I'm like, for real. So I go sit down. I'm like, everybody, shh. Jay and the coaches come down. Tom Pecoro, coach at Fordham for a little while. They all come down. I see the security guard, you know, come over to him. He comes walking over. He's all steamed. You guys are lucky. 9 o'clock tomorrow, be in your gear. We go back in the locker room. Everybody's like, Shafe's the man. And long story short, they told a couple of stories later in life. when Jay went to the final, he went to the Final Four in the championship. They do a little thing in the Daily News. They're talking to all these professional guys. Kyle Lowry went to the pros. Yo, he had this game that night. Alan Ray had that shutdown versus North Carolina. And then they tell my story.
Of course. You got him out of running. I want to
say my story belongs there. It was like I shot the lights out. It was like I got the lights shut off.
You're the only guy that get him out of running.
Yeah. So look, like I said, I love Jay Wright to death. I'm so happy what he did. But like we talked before, coaches go through that stuff, and some of the guys that get off and stuff like that. It was a great 4 years, and I'm sure we spent some stories before. Unbelievable stories with Jay, and I love that guy to death. And I couldn't be happy that he's in the Hall of Fame, got all his victories this year. And I hope retirement leads to the pros. I don't know if that happens, but we'll see.
All right, Dagan, what do we got? Questions?
Yes, here, I'll give you one. MC Lee wants to know who gets the last 2 seed, Marquette, Gonzaga, or Baylor?
Marquette played their way in. I mean, good God. What else could they do?
I don't think Baylor's there. They played themselves out.
Yeah,
I agree. Marquette showed themselves. They were up 30 in the first half. I think they played well the whole tournament.
Yeah. And
I agree.
You win the Big East regular season.
Sure.
You win the Big East tournament. Second best conference.
I think conference hold a lot in that situation. And if they're not on the 1 line because there are teams better than them, they definitely deserve a 2 line.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Because Baylor didn't play today.
Right. No. Yeah. There's a reason why. Yeah.
They're better team.
Also last 2.
They're better team.
Lost last 2. Yep. I agree. 100%.
Yep. All right, Dagan, what else?
Who is a mid-major player that will be this year's Doug Eater? Someone's nobody heard of before the tournament. So Max Asmus is out.
Well, his teammate, Connor Vanover.
People have heard of Connor Vanover.
Yeah,
he played at Arkansas. He played at Cal and then played at Arkansas. We've heard of it.
So he's a 7'4" dude that has hit 5 threes in the game 3 different times.
Yeah.
7'4" dude that hit 5 threes in the game 3 different times.
Yeah.
How many? Those don't exist.
7'5" or 7'4"?
7'4".
185 pounds.
Yep. He also had.
That's unbelievable.
Do you remember when he was at Cal and he had the cornrows?
That's awesome.
Remember that? He had 7'5" with the cornrows. Yeah. Where are we going?
Me personally, sorry, I got to get the mic.
Yeah.
I think a couple of guys in Charleston. I mean, I think those guys can make a scare of somebody.
Yeah, they're good.
Some of them might not want to meet them in the first round.
So
I'm not saying individuals. I'm saying as a team.
Yeah.
I think they're coached really well. They had a winning streak in the beginning of the season. You get somebody like that on a bad day, bad shooting day. I think they can cause trouble.
Three Division II transfers and an NAIA transfer, and all of them are grown ass men. One of them, Dalton Boland was teaching physiology at his last place as a GA. That's a true story. I can't spell physiology.
I think me and RC talked about it a little bit yesterday. Like, I understand like Kentucky's get the one and done guys, but a lot of times in the NCAA tournament, you get the 4-year guys that have a great backcourt. It means everything.
Well, it's gonna matter now because they're even older with the COVID years. So now there's 6 and 7-year kids.
You get a 25-year-old versus 17-year-old. It's a big difference.
It's a massive difference.
See, if I was 25 and I had a picture of T.O. when he was 150 pounds, I got him. Bounce in the house. There's a sentimental bounce in the house. God play. And there's a couple of teams I think could cause trouble in those tournaments. I love mid-majors because, like you said, they've shown up in the last couple of years.
Furman, Jalen Slauson, Mike Bothwell, those 2 dudes.
JK McGee's.
No, they don't. Well, because they're all That's why.
All right, hold on. Tell them about Vermont, because you called the Vermont kid. You guys want to know how crazy, how insane this man is. Tell them what you did. Tell them your last 48 hours.
So we did, what was it, midnight? We did midnight to 1 2 nights ago.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you don't remember. That's about right. So 2 nights ago we did 12
Thursday
to 1.
night. That's Thursday night.
Yeah, so Thursday night we went 12 to about 1:15 at the Garden. I walk home, I pack, I take a 6 a.m. flight to get up to Burlington. And then I call the American, I go to practice when I get there. And then I also go to UMass Lowell's practice after that. And then I go back, I fall asleep. Get up, I do the America East Championship game, 11 a.m. Vermont. You were talking about Vermont earlier.
Yeah, Coach.
So I did that game and then flew directly here to get to the championship game.
They have a guy on their team that I think's a stud. Penn, the card Penn. He's legit.
Yeah, Dylan Penn. Yeah, you're right.
Legit.
He during that game, he was MVP of the tournament.
But I think teams like that like you get those 4
they
guys.
move the ball, man. They just move it. They're 5 out. They're strong. They have so many different guys, right?
We mention it all the time, like right. The first couple rounds for the first couple of rounds for like a Duke or, you know, the big, it doesn't mean that much, right?
Yeah.
This is their championship.
Yeah.
Like St. Peter's last year, right? Get past that first round, move on.
Yeah.
It means everything for Ron. And you look at their history in the tournament.
Yeah.
They've won a couple games and they scared a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And I think when you play as hard as they do, and you have a guy like that a guard that can throw in 20 plus.
Yeah. And they have several guards that can do that. Finn Sullivan.
Yeah, he's awesome too.
He was a
Yeah,
player of the
player,
year.
yeah.
They have a guy named Matt Veretto. Get this. Went to Delaware his first year, played. Left basketball, went to UConn, graduated with a finance degree, took 3 years away from basketball, came back, and today hit 4 threes in the second half. Was awesome.
But Penn and Finn can make a difference in the game.
They absolutely can. And Robert Duncan, too, is a defense, kind of do it all.
Those guys,
they just play so spread out. There's never anybody within 20 feet of the goal. And with Dylan Penn, like you alluded to, he's able to post up at 6'3", 6'4". He's got big, strong shoulders. Like, you can't help because then you're creating closeout opportunities when they skip it around. They're good.
But you got those guys on the outside that line up behind the three, and that's getting back to
the last one I'll give you is Colgate. Colgate, the way that they play, spread the floor, they got good guards. They are Langle. They are so good offensively. They don't turn the ball over.
Once again, well coached team, but going back to the knowledge, right? Almost an Ivy League school, kind of considered the Ivy League with that conference. Last year they played well with Richmond, Davidson. They all played well. Schools like that, you get in trouble with those guys because once again, they're forced to play hard, right? They're coached well.
Yep.
And they don't make mistakes.
Right.
And the biggest thing, like in any sport, right? No errors, no turnovers, no mistakes, right? That's what it comes down. Rebounding.
Yep.
It's huge. And
keep an eye on Dayton if they win tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I agree. They're
in a championship game.
They're in a championship tomorrow.
VCU. I like VCU.
Yeah, but keep an eye on Dayton because they're huge. They have the size to compete. Deron Holmes is a really nice player.
Here's why I really like VCU, and I think they're going to win tomorrow.
Yep.
And why I like them in whatever matchup they get, they pressure the hell out of you.
Yeah.
They have guards that climb up in you, right?
Yep.
They shut the hell out of it today. They put up 90 points on St. Louis. St. Louis doesn't guard anybody. You can probably still get 25 on them, right?
That's what you're.
But
I mean, maybe.
But
no, come on.
He's a little old right now.
22.
The thing about this year is there's not a lot of great point guards out there, right? And if you have a team, UConn does not want to see VCU in the first.
No, they don't.
VCU was like a 13 seed kind of range. UConn could be a 3-4 seed kind of range. You get VCU in that first round, you do not want to see that.
But don't you think a lot of teams went to the hybrid thing? Like there aren't really point guards. Like I think like a team like Villanova started the 3-guard offense, so it's 3 guys that can actually bring the ball up.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really a dedicated point guard. You don't see guys that are averaging 11 assists in the college anymore. Like, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's 3-guard offenses, which is good. And I think VCU, but going back to what we said today, I love Shaka Small because he plays baseline to baseline.
Yeah.
That's why I always give them a chance.
Yeah.
Because you put pressure on guys. And that's why he's always been successful at VCU and stuff like that, because
he's got a point guard.
He's got a point guard.
Yeah.
He's good. He's really good. But I said the pressure, look, pressure bust pipes, as Jay-Z said, like it does. It really does. And especially in this tournament. Eesh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Dagan.
On a 1-game sample size, too. Hey, what we're just not going to throw in UNC Asheville, Drew Pember.
Go ahead. Do it.
Drew Pember.
Every team. On the
hey, they want mid-majors. We got mid-majors, Dagan.
T.O., here's the thing about T.O. No 1 seeds, no 2 seeds, no 3 seeds, no 4 seeds are going to win. The entire second weekend is going to be nothing but mid-majors.
It'll be an electric factory.
Because everybody sucks. I think everybody.
Hey, when I was a Duke fan, I wanted Butler to hit that shot so bad.
All right, Dagan. Dagan said he has 3
I've
more
got 3. I've got 3 questions.
Hey, hold on. Dagan, are we going to do a trivia question for a Top Golf gift card?
If the chat hits 150 likes, if they don't, then no.
150 likes.
Let's hit that like button. I'm with T.O. and the crew here. Let's go. Like.
All right, so the first 2 are going to be fairly quick. We're gonna go quick on them. Michigan State 7 or 8 seed tomorrow.
Are they going like which one?
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
I tend to lean towards probably a 7 seed.
I lean towards an 8 because they lost yesterday, and there's a lot of guys bumping up in front of them.
Probably true, but look, no matter what they are, I don't want to see them. I don't want them in my brain.
I just think
Shout out Howard, by the way.
I just think Tom Izzo's the guy. They always come prepared. I don't want to see them.
Yeah, look.
Old guards.
Hey, we're watching the highlights right now, Howard.
This is another team that has that went on an unbelievable turn.
I thought we've named enough mid-majors.
No,
Here, you
They're giants.
When he took over the program in
They were
2019,
miserable. 4 wins.
First year, 4 wins. Same thing as Amir Abdul-Rahim. First year at Kennesaw State, 1 win. Now 4 years later, they're in
Their front court is
NCAA
front court is
Gotta
humongous.
shout 'em
They're
out.
all big
Give
guys.
some love to the HBCUs, man. Hurts for Robert Jones. Robert Jones, true story. Robert Jones, his first job out of college in 2003, he was working in Queens. He was booking shows for 50 Cent before 50 Cent and G Unit were actually 50 Cent.
Before Tony Ayo was part of 50, before he was part of the G Unit.
All right, Dave,
Young-
what do we got?
Next one. What team is seated higher, or are they on the same seed line tomorrow? UConn or Xavier? Currently, we have UConn as a 3, Xavier as a 4.
I think UConn. I think they're going to end up being 3.
Both teams.
No, I think Xavier will be a 4. I think UConn's going to be a 3. Xavier got blasted tonight, man. They're meant to take a hit.
I think if UConn plays Xavier tonight, I thought they would have got the win. They unfortunately they met up with Marquette. We spoke yesterday.
Hey, look, I got a message for UConn fans. Chill the fuck out. Did you see what Marquette did to Xavier tonight?
Yeah, I
Did you see what they
agree.
did to Xavier
I
tonight?
agree. I
Xavier
agree.
beat the
I
shit
agree.
out of Creighton. We know how good Creighton is. Marquette beat the shit out of Xavier. UConn had 4 open threes in the last 3 minutes that would have beat Marquette.
I couldn't agree more with
And
what
look
you're
what
saying.
Marquette just fucking did. Okay, chill out, please.
Sometimes you meet the wrong team in the rounds. I couldn't agree more with them right now. I think UConn is a
Everybody's
team.
melting down. Like,
Yeah,
Marquette won the Big East by 2.
Keep
They
it.
won the Big East tournament. They're going to be a 2 seed. Everyone's freaking out because they lost by 2 points in the game. They probably could have won.
And I
Like,
think
I lose
too.
my mind. I
You
lose my mind about this.
That's
UConn's gonna be
that's UConn fans, right?
Yeah, well, UConn's going to be that team
Spoiler
too.
alert.
Yeah, UConn's going to. UConn's going to be that team too. They're going to get a refresher from playing somebody outside of conference.
Yep.
They're going to be able to expose people with their size, with their ability to attack the offensive glass. You know, out of conference teams aren't going to be able to figure out Jackson the way that the rest of the league has. I mean, they're going to look at it. It's still harder to play.
But it's very different.
That's right.
To know what to do and have done it.
I think somebody said so important. Pounding glass is used, especially first round.
Yeah,
Because
Sanogo,
you're
Hunter
gonna
Jackson.
you're gonna get a team that's undersized versus them.
Donovan Clingan, yeah.
It's not even a matter.
That's right. And if they control their controllables, that's a huge thing.
All right.
Whoever just said Teddy Allen in the chat, boot him, Dagan. He's got to go.
Absolutely not. That is not going to happen on my watch. All right, my last question. This is obviously our last night before we know what the bracket is like. And before we see that, I want you guys to give your final 4 picks. Obviously, you can change them tomorrow when we see the bracket. I want them right now. Your 4 teams going to Houston if it happened tonight.
4 teams going to Houston and pick a national champion. Jimmy, you first.
Look, man, I don't like Houston, but I believe in karma. So I believe Houston might get there because I think the refs might hold it that way. Not, everybody's talking about fixing stuff, but I don't know about that.
Hold on. Well, as we do this, can I throw in one rule, Dagan? Am I allowed to do this? I'm doing it. I don't care.
Depends on what the rule is.
You got to have like one kind of flyer. You can't just pick the top 4 teams. You got to have
Sure,
one kind of
sure,
flyer in there. All right.
sure.
That's the
All
rule.
right, that was a good rule, though. So I
Sure, that's fine. I like Houston. I like Duke the way they're playing. I really, really
I'm not
do.
mad at that at all.
I really, really do. Trying to figure out the rest.
Yeah,
Look,
well, there's a bracket right there while you look at it.
Yeah,
I
let me
got-
see
I got-
this
I got
right now.
I got my 4.
All right,
I got my
go,
4. You
go,
guys ready
Dauster.
for this?
No, I got to see the bracket
Yep.
too.
First one,
Uh,
Alabama.
Yes.
I'm going
Okay.
Alabama. I think they're going to make it.
I think they'll-
they're the most talented team in the country.
I think they might get bumped because karma might get them.
Number 2, I'm taking yours. I'm going Duke. I think
Yeah.
as a 5 seed, I think
Yeah.
they're going to find a way to make it to the Final 4. Number 3,
Going to be something.
I'm going with Kansas. I'm taking 2 number 1 seeds, but I'm going. With
I don't like what happened to them tonight. They got exposed a little bit
Yeah, I think-
by
I
an
think
okay
that-
Texas team.
They didn't have McCullough. They didn't have Bill Self. Texas had something to prove.
They kind of scared me a little bit.
Kind of rolled it over a little bit. And then number 4, who am I going with, chat?
Probably going.
They already know. Marquette, UConn. I'm going UConn.
Did you change
Hey, who's winning the national title?
Oh yeah, let's go.
So the question that we're answering right now, you got to pick without knowing the bracket.
You get your 4.
Your 4
I'm
final 4 teams. You got to pick one that's kind of off the radar. I said Kansas.
How's
I said
UConn
Alabama.
off the radar? Is that your off the radar pick?
Duke is a 5.
Well, Duke's me took my pick. You know what Robert's doing? He's taking my pick.
UConn.
That's such a that shouldn't even
He was taking my pick, Duke.
just won the ACC
He
championship.
took my pick too, RC.
What do you want me to say? I'm not tee over. I'm not going to say UNC Asheville's going to the Final Four, guys.
I said Miami to the Elite Eight, got ridiculed, and you did too. You were the one. You
vaulted at. Is what you should have done.
That's exactly what I should have done.
all right,
Get your vaulted app, download it today.
You thought about it.
I haven't even been able to look at the thing yet.
Who's next?
I believe Duke. I'm just taking Houston as a fun pick because it's in Houston. I'll tell you a surprise pick for me. Let me see 1 second, Tio. I'll tell you a surprise pick for me. I'll take Gonzaga. You know why I'll take Gonzaga?
I'm not bad at that.
Because they've been there before. They might get a West that's very weak. And they have the age. So I'm going to take Gonzaga. And a surprise 5 pick, I'm going to go with UConn because I believe what you said.
My man.
I believe they could have beat Marquette yesterday. I think they're well coached. I believe what RC said, they don't have a point guard. But I believe what Tio said today. They have the big guys on the board. They're going to meet a team there, small guys, and they're going to cruise.
So I real quick, funny story about that. My teammate from college was sitting next to Donovan Klingen's dad in the crowd yesterday, and he said that every time Klingen came to the game, whenever he'd be sealing, all the two would just yell and go, mismatch, 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 every single time that Klingen was in the game, just screaming mismatch the whole time, and I love it. He's a crazy person. T.O., give me your teams.
All right, so I'm just going to take one per region in the fielding the 68 bracket. So in the East region, Purdue.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Purdue.
Honestly, I kind of feel like that's an off the radar pick right now.
I'm going Purdue. West region, I'm sitting here looking.
This is great podcasting, by the way.
Yeah, I know this
You
is
just look
horrible.
there and you look at it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
RC,
sorry.
you go.
I actually like the Gonzaga pick. I like the Gonzaga pick. I feel like they've been floating up there and not
They're
many
not being
people.
paid attention. And
Yeah, so
when
Purdue,
they finished off the West
Gonzaga.
Coast Finals, they blew St. Mary's out.
Yeah,
They
so
looked dominant.
So let's go Purdue, Gonzaga, Houston, because Houston, and then South Region, not Alabama,
I don't think so either.
Kansas State.
Oofa.
Sorry, I
Jamie
thought
Dix?
he was holding.
Jamie Dixon, you got the skunk hair? Is that what you going with?
No. Kansas State, Jerome Tang. Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm going to go Alabama.
Come on, RC.
Texas.
Oh, wow.
Can that count as my pick? That won't count as my pick. No, it's too
No,
high
that's-
seed.
you can
I
do
like
whatever you
Texas
want.
because their coach left, and I think it would be funny if they went all the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Kansas. Even though I was leaning toward Duke, I'm going to take Kansas.
Yeah.
And
Well, Bill Self will be back too.
yeah,
that
he'll be
hurt them
back.
tonight too.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm going to go with the Huskies.
He's just kissing the boss's ass.
And the reason I'm saying it because I'm going off of our bracket. I think it's. I don't.
So has everybody completely fallen off the Purdue wagon?
I think they have. The struggle they had at the end of the year. I mean, they lost 3 in a row. Like it was just a bad showing.
That's right.
But I will say this: if what we're predicting in this bracket, I take them to make it out of this.
Yeah.
Depends where they,
only off of what
only
we
off
have
that,
right
but
now.
it really
Off
depends.
this
You
bracket,
understand that.
Yeah,
Depends
it's
where they
all
are.
I would take Purdue.
Oh, you know who would have been a good Miami?
Hell yeah.
Because they get an 8-9 match.
Miami's good
But
too.
you know what's so funny? How bad is Notre ankle?
That's a big one.
Big one.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We don't know, and I don't. Well, I'll tell you what we do know.
That's the only reason
We do know.
Yeah.
We know that an ankle sprain that you walk off the floor that you can't put weight on doesn't heal in 4 days.
No, you're right.
And if he's out there, he's not 100%.
Sure.
How about Marcus Sasser?
There's no indication
That's
on that.
that's my point with
But
these
he
guys.
was listed as questionable for tomorrow. They didn't rule him out for tomorrow.
Dude, there is the groin. There's a lot of jokes to be made. That's a painful injury.
I think the health is just such a big part of where a lot of teams are.
Health
right
and
now.
luck.
And luck. That's what matters.
As I look at the 8-9 games, I think like if Purdue, like you usually look at somebody that you'd be afraid of in the 8-9 games, and the only person that I would really be afraid of is Michigan State. But you look at some of these 8-9s, Maryland, West Virginia, I wouldn't be worried about them if Purdue got them.
No.
So I mean, you get a Michigan State, always coach on the tournament, but they play in that conference, so it's a little different for
Two
me.
good guards. Yeah, they space out.
Arkansas, Memphis is kind of interesting if they get that.
That would be a great.
I said this. I think this tournament is going to be more about matchups.
Absolutely.
Than in recent
guys, I feel like I've said it a million times. That extra year of eligibility just broadened the talent
Well, I
base.
think so too. And I think, like you said, like he said, knock every favorite out and make it a mid-major tournament. It could happen. I'm not saying every guy, but it could happen. I'm not saying ones get knocked out, but a lot of guys can get bumped off.
It could, man. It could. Like, the thing about it is that we've been beating this drum all year long. There's no overwhelming.
I mean, perfect matchup. First time we talked about Charleston, Tennessee. I can see that getting bumped right away, right off the bat. You know,
Dagan, we got one more question.
Yeah, what are your toasts of the night? That's the question.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start Siri. Toast of the night.
Go ahead, RC.
Can I do two?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's your world.
One, toast to you, my man.
Yep.
Toast to you guys. Unbelievable spot. Unbelievable time. Unbelievable. You guys have been awesome. And I'm gonna go with Howard winning the MEAC.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that was awesome.
Because I know you guys are going to come back. It's for where it started. Kenny Blakeney for what he started there, what he inherited, and dump the Mantha guy, and then to turn that around. We punched the ticket. It's been what 30 years, I think, since they've been in tournament. It's been that long. It's been
yeah.
What was it?
It's like 30 years, maybe something like that. It's been so to Kenny Blakeney.
To Kenny Blakeney, I agree.
And Howard,
we Maryland.
Yep. T.O., take it away.
Hey, man, the packed house of Vermont.
I agree. I told you guys they have nothing else fruitful. It was crazy. I told you that story,
that
dude.
Was crazy. Hey, man, the old wooden bleachers.
Oh man, there's no
like
seats.
Old high school.
There's no seats. Yeah.
Like that. What a cool.
It was like Hoosiers. It was like Hoosiers.
Tom Brennan, my man,
That's
my boy.
That's my guy.
My boy.
My boy. Tom Brennan's my boy. I love Tom Brennan. Tom Brennan was at my senior dinner.
The whole thing. I had a grilled cheeseburger burger. I didn't know. I think I have to say burger twice.
You know that exists.
Cheeseburger burger.
All right, Vermont.
Cheers
Toast.
to Vermont. That was awesome. Salute.
All right, Jimmy. Toast tonight.
I just got to give two. One to you guys for doing this podcast and and coming by here and seeing me and my partner Frank. It's amazing to be sitting, and I'm dead serious when I say this. Greatness of the ACC, and not only this, that you're carrying it on. Rob,
I'm going to clip this.
But you should clip it because maybe I would have got you drafted a little higher. But for Rob for running this, because like people care about this, they really, really do, and you guys are changing the way it is. But for Randolph and T.O. to be sitting here, you guys are doing it. It's because we care.
Yeah.
I hated basketball when I didn't get those butterflies when I was taking a layup because I had to guard Randolph for 48 minutes. And the second cheers is to, I think Penn State, they knocked off Indiana tonight. I think they might be Purdue tomorrow.
It's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So hot man. I take that.
Quick little tease. Our Bet Rivers boost of the day is going to be the booty ball money line.
The booty ball.
Penn State booty ball money.
I love it.
That's a tease right there.
I love it. And cheers to you guys, man. Cheers, man.
Right.
Cheers.
Last but not least, my toast of the night is going to be the team that we watched cut down the nest.
Holy cow.
Shaka Smart, Marquette, Tyler Kolek. By the way, Tyler Kolek, I think it's official. He's my favorite player.
He might be the
Love
best
that
in college
dude.
basketball.
He's got a level of toughness, a level of swag, and a level of arrogance that I don't think you can coach.
I think Tio is right about you, but you take a lot of chalk. Like you can't lose. Like right, you don't take risk.
Yeah, he's a UConn fan.
I'm remember. Tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. We're starting. We have the fielding the 68 crew. Greg Waddell, I believe it's going to be Dagan. Who's going to be tomorrow on fielding the 68?
It is going to be Greg Waddell hosting Brad Wachtel and Rocco Miller.
Yep, our the two best bracketologists we have. I'm going to shout them out. Plus Greg Waddell, who he's Greg, but we'll make do with him anyway. They'll be unveiling their final bracket projections and reacting live to the selection committee making their official announcements. Then T.O., RC, and myself will be live at about 6:40-ish or so, whenever the bracket is officially out, making picks, breaking it down. That's just going to start it. We have Jeff Goodman, we have Robbie Hummel, we have LaBelle Jordan, we have Matt McCall, we have Tyler Hansbrough, we have Doug Gottlieb making an appearance. We have John Henson making an appearance.
Before Gottlieb heads to Green Bay?
Somebody didn't kill Gottlieb yet?
Henson doing the NIT?
We have the three-man weave guys making an appearance. Carter Elliott's going to be making an appearance.
What?
Kevin Sweeney's going to be making an appearance.
What?
We are going until midnight tomorrow. 6 and a half hours of Selection Sunday bracket breakdown conversation. I'm going to send up here. You know what? My last toast of the night is going to go to Dagan Hughes
Yeah, it
and
is.
Trevor Release. We're going to, guys, listen up. Seriously, chat, everybody listening to this. Dagan and Trevor bust their asses to make sure this show, 1, looks good, 2, sounds good, and is actually able to be distributed. So shout out to them. If you see them, buy them a drink, because tomorrow by about 12:01 a.m. Monday morning, they're going to need like 27 of them. So,
Dagan, you guys come to Schaefer's. I got you guys. I got you guys all night long.
We appreciate that.
Cheers, guys.